this video, we are going to discuss the base 5 number system. There are two rules to follow in the base 5 number system. The first rule being about the symbols that you can use. It's a base 5 number system, and therefore there are 5 symbols that can be used to represent values. Those symbols are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these are the only symbols that are used in the base 5 number system. The second rule is about the place values. It's a base 5 number system, and so place values are based on powers of 5. In order to use this number system, we're going to think about what it would look like to count in base 5. And to do that, we need to understand each place value and what happens and how we get from one place value to the next. So I'm going to make a place value chart for base 5. Here I am drawing each place value, giving a space for each place value. Place values in base 5 are very similar to the place values in base 10. They go forever, right? We can always go to the next place value. So in our place value chart, we're going to think about each place value based on powers of 5. So the first place value is going to be here to the right, and it is going to be powers of 5. It's 5 to the 0 power. As we move to the left, we're doing the next power of 5, which is 5 to the first power. Then we have 5 to the second power and 5 to the third power. And in order to understand what that place value is or what it means, all we have to do is the math for 5 to the 0 power. And mathematically, when we do anything to the power of 0, it equals 1. And therefore, this is the ones place. Mathematically, when you do 5 to the first power, it equals 5. And therefore, this is our 5's place value. That is the name of that second place value. We have 5 squared, okay? That is like 5 times 5, which is 25. And that is the name of this place value. It is the 25's place value. We have 5 groups of 5 here. Then we have 5 to the third. Mathematically, that is the same as 5 times 5 times 5, which equals 125. And therefore, this is the 125's place value. So these are the names of each of our place values. And what's happening as we move from one place value to the next is we're multiplying by 5. So when we go from the 1's place to the 5's place, it's really just multiplying by 5. We're getting 5 times bigger. When we go from the 5's place to the 25's place, we're adding another group of 5 or multiplying that amount by 5 as well. And this continues, right? This will continue forever to the left. So we're going to look at counting objects. I already have a couple of objects here for us to count, and below each group of objects, I have our place value chart written out so we can talk about how to write each symbol for the amount of objects we're counting. So let's start over here in this section. So we don't have any objects over here. That means we have 0 1s and 0 groups of 5s. All right. Next, we're going to look at the objects here. We have 1 object, so 1 1, and there aren't any 5s. So just like in our number system, we can just put a 1 for one object, or we can put 0 1 representing 0 groups of 5s and 1 group of 1. All right, next we have these two objects here. So in base 5, it looks like this. If we want to include the 0 groups of 5s, we can, but we don't have to. All right, and then continuing over here, we have 3 1s, 0 groups of 5, and here we have 4 1s. So this is an example of counting just with single digits here in base 5. But what happens when we do get groups of 5? So that's going to be our next set of objects. Okay, so we're going to continue, and I want to be able to see what we've already counted, those single values of objects that we just finished counting, and what it looks like once we have a group of 5. Okay, so if we just zoom in here a little bit, now we can see where we have this group of 5 here. So to write that in base 5, as we know, we don't have a symbol for 5. Instead, we show it as a group of 5 and then how many ones we have left over. And so in this case, we would say that we have one group of 5 and 0 ones. And so when we have 5 objects in base 5, it looks like 1, 0. And this should look familiar, right? Because we use this in our number system. We call this number 10 in our base 10 system, which also in our number system means one group of 10 and 0 ones. Well, in base 5, it represents one group of 5 and 0 ones. And so then when we get to more objects, when we add in more objects, right, we have, here's a group of 5, and then we have 1 left over. So we have one group of 5 with 1 1, or one group of 1. Okay, and if we keep going, we have one group of 5 and then 2 1s. This is showing one group of 5, one group of 5, and then we have 3 1s left over. And finally, we have one group of 5 and 4 1s. All right, and so this pattern would continue, right? We are in the base 5 system, we're keeping track of how many groups of each place value we have. And for our base 5 system, the place values are just different than our number system that we use. We use a base 10 system in our everyday lives. So really, we're just keeping track of groups, and our place values are telling us how many is in each group, right? We have how many 1s, how many 5s. You know, the next place value, once we get to that many objects, would be the 25s place, and then the 125s place. So we're just keeping track of how many of each of those groups we can make. If you have questions, please let me know. Thank you.